So very good afternoon, everybody. This is the third day of our presentations of season number 4. Semester 4 students are making their presentations. Today, the presentations are going to be on research methodology. And we will have presentations by Pina, Stuti, SNEHA, Riddhi, NIYATI, NIDHI, NANDITABA, LATTA, and KISHAN. And the topics that you all have selected for the presentations are um, the mechanics of writing in punctuation mark, spelling. The discussion is going to speak on that. Why documentation is necessary in research by Lata. Plagiarism and its types by Nandita. What is plagiarism and how it can be avoided by Nidhi. Niyati on mechanics of writing in research methodology in context to titles in the text. Riddhi will speak on literature review in research. Sneha also will speak on literature review as research methodology. Stuti on what is academic writing and characteristics of academic writing. And Pina will speak on explaining writing drafts. Okay, so let us start with the first presentation, and Pina will start the presentation.
Hello everyone, good morning to all of you. Myself Pina Gondaliya from Department of English, MKBU University. Today, presentation semester 4. Today we deal with the paper research methodology, in which my topic is explain writing draft. So let's we focus on focus on writing draft. So when you're writing research or research article or dissertation, what things you have to keep in your mind? So first of all, we discuss the introduction. Writing is often challenging for many students because they are trying to do two things at once, putting ideas down on paper and writing in a more formal manner that they may not be familiar with. If you are already create an outline for your essay, it would be easier for you to further develop your ideas and include supporting information found from your research. Writing first draft. When you write first draft, what things you keep in your mind? You can focus these eight things when you write your draft. Do not expect your first draft to be the finished product. The successful research paper is usually the culmination of a series of drafts. When you write first draft, these eight things you can focus in your writing. First is print out a copy of your outline or have it open on another screen if it is helpful. Second, focus on expressing the issues roughly into your paper. Third one is don't worry too much about wording, grammar and spelling. You can revise and edit your essay once you have a rough draft. Fourth one is move on to another section of or a paragraph or take a break if you get stuck. Return to it later. Fifth one is review the thesis statement or a purpose of your essay from the time to help you stay focused in your writing. Sixth one is leave the organization of idea after you complete the draft. It would be easier for you to see their logical sequence and relationship when you can review them from start to finish. And seventh is add or remove an idea from your outline if indeed. Remember that an outline is intended to providing guidance, not to restrict your thought process and writing. Eighth one is include summaries, paraphrase and or quotations from your research to support your arguments. Include an in-text citation for each information piece. to help you keep track of the source and create your reference list at the end of your writing. Subsequent draft. In revising, you may add, eliminate, and rearrange material. If a section in the first draft seems unclear, sketchy, you may have to expand it by writing another sentence or two, even a new paragraph. Similarly, to improve the fluency and coherence of your paper, you may need to add a transition between sentence and paragraphs, or to find connection or contrast. Delete any material that is relevant. That is relevant, unimportant, repetitive, or dull and dispensable. If the presentation of ideas seems illogical or confusing, you may find that you can clarify by rearranging phrases, clauses, and sentence or paragraphs. Next is writing draft word process. When you are writing draft in word process, the first thing is the technique. If you do not own a computer, see whether your school or a public library has a personal computer available for students. Use with the word necessary. You can store a first draft or just a portion of can and later retrieve and revise. If you create a different file for each draft, you can return to preceding draft whenever you wish. Most word process have the following feature, which you can profitably in your writing. First is global revision. This feature of word processing permits you to search for and automatically change text. Thus, if you realize you misspelled the same word several times in your draft, you can correct all the misspelling with a single command. And second is a spatial pasting. If in a word processing document you paste text that you copied from another document, the pasted in text may keep it original formatting. Most word processors provide the option of spatial pasting, in which the pasted text takes on the formatting of the new documents. And next is started phrases. If you will need to type of complicated phrase, then repeatedly store the phrase and assign a shortcut of it. Whenever you type the shortcut, the phrase will be entered. And then comparing document. Compare two version of a document and see that how they differ. In each entry in the works cited as the first line is a flush left and the subsequent line are indented. The easiest way to achieve this formatting is highlight the paragraphs that are or will be entires, and then choose the heading indentation in the option for formatting paragraphs. Second is the limitation. Word processing has a certain limitation. Since no more than a fixed number of lines of the text are visible on computer screen, you may find a difficulty to get a sense of your whole project. Some writers like to print out text regularly to see better how the writing is developing from paragraphs to paragraph and from page to page. Use a spelling and use character checkers cautiously, for they are only as effective as the dictionaries they contain. On the one hand, a spelling checker will call your attention to words that are correctly spelled if they are not in its dictionary. One of the other, it will be not point out misspelling that much word in a dictionary, for example, they're used for their or it's for its. Finally, in working on computer files, you run the risk of losing it through a technical mistake equipment failure or power output. The final draft and the research project portfolio. All instructions require schemation of the final draft of the research paper. Some instruction ask to student to prepare and submit of your research project or portfolio, which documents and evaluation of the paper. The portfolio might contain such an item as the approved thesis statement, the final outline yearly draft, the final draft. To sum up, the research paper are normally composed through a series of drafts. The first draft is usually rough, and subsequent draft are increasingly refined revision of original version. A word processor is useful for writing research papers, although it has some limitation as well. The assignments conclude with the submission of the final draft or of the research project portfolio. These are the citations.
Okay, so what you can do in such presentations. So what you is that you bring your personal experience also in this. Like in last semester you can bring working writing. There's a test. So how is writing draft? What was your experience? Was all these ideas helpful? Was that happening with you also? So we are going then can make your presentation more live and something very useful also to everybody. So all other students also, if you can connect whatever you are saying with what you are doing, then it will be more meaningful, more useful, also more meaningful. Okay, next presenter now. Yes, you can start.
Hello everyone, good morning. Today I'm going to presentations on paper number 2009, research methodology. My topic is what is the academic writing and what is the characteristic of academic writing. what is the academic writing? Academic writing is the formal writing style and used in college and university. It's what students are expected to produce for classes and what professors and academic research use to write scholarly materials. High school high schools sometimes help scholars present idea, analyze, research, and construct an effective argument. Through the purpose of academic writing can vary among discipline. This styles of writing has many common features. If you work in academic, you may benefit from knowing the characteristic and category of academic writing to help you publish your original work. In this article, we define academic writing, describe some of its general characteristics, and list seven categories of academic writing. Writing writing for higher educations. A similar academic writing definitions of is hard of come by because there are many types and form of academic writing produced for a variety of research. Seven different types of academic writing: essay, papers, report, project, article, dissertation, and thesis. First is thesis. A thesis, the thesis is sometimes known as a dissertation. Is a document that summarizes the author research on a specific topic. Um, typical those pursuing an advanced degree, such as a master's degree of doctorate, submit a thesis at the end of their program. It, it, it usually builds on existing research to contribute new knowledge of theories on a topic. These are typically lengthy documents between 600 to 20,000 words. Often, writer choose to structures a thesis using essay. An essay is a short piece of writing. Usually between the 1500 to 2000 words that present an idea or argument. Typically, an essay aims to convince the readers of an idea using research and analysis. The writer provide context on the subject to help support their argument. Academic writers often publish their essay in scholarly journal. Research article. A research article provide an in-depth analysis of the author-dependent research. It clearly explains the researcher process and method to show how they arrive at the conclusion. It usually refers others' data and research of reinforce the finding of the research. Writer often submit this article to academic journals and similar publications. Many times peers in the industry review these articles before their publication. Technical report. A technical report explains the progress or result of academic, technical or scientific research. Often researcher write this report to submit to the sponsor or organizer for funding the research project. It may include recommendations based on the result of the research. This document rarely go through a peer review process. For this researcher often use this report as a primary draft that they can later define before submitting their work to scholarly producers. Chapter. Scholarly writing may submit chapters for an edited volume of collection which features submissions from different authors. This edit publications can often different viewpoint on a single topic or idea. This chapter follow other styles of academic writing, but may provide less background because readers are likely to have some knowledge of the submit already. Often the writer of this chapter have already published scholarly document on the topic, and they may submit shortest versions of a similar piece of writing of the collections. Annotated bibliography. An annotated bibliography is a comprehensive list of search on the topic that include brief descriptions of the evolutions and each search. It summarizes this search usually in a paragraph format so that reader can understand the general context of each one. For example, the writer may include the source, principle, argument, conclusion, and reliability. These bibliography are independent documents that can give the reader an overview of the research and finding on the specific topic. Characteristic of academic writing. Why a specific requirement may vary based on the particular from the academic writing of the class or publications for which a work is produced. Some characteristics are common to all academic writing. Formal tones, language, approach, point of view, outline, and planning. Formal tone. A formal tone is always used in academic writing. It is not a lighter or conversational in tone. Slang and do not belong in this type of writing. Language keeping with the formal tones, it's important to choose phrases in language that very clearly convey the author's meaning. Point of view. Academic writing is usually writing is third person point of view because its focus is to editing on the point of view. Research focus. Because most academic writing involve reporting research result. It tends to focus on the specific research questions being studied. Organizations. Academic writing should be organized logically in a linear matter of fact fashion. use a heading to delineate each major sections. Search citations. The most academic writing include at the least some secondary research source. Be sure to properly cite all source and include a bibliography. Of course, individuals' assignment may sometimes have different requirement. Always review submissions guidelines careful to verify you are following the proper format and style. Main sections of the academic writing. An academic paper has three distinct sections: introductions, body, and conclusion. Introductions you must get the readers attend and identify the thesis of the paper. Try to include thesis statement in a single line so that the purpose of your writing would be clear to the readers. Body. This is the main part of the writing, and the paragraph must be clearly written. Each sections like the preceding paragraph and the whole sections follows smoothly. Conclusion. In conclusion, you are emphasize the thesis and summarize all the main point. The conclusion consists of the paragraph which show the final conclusions to the reader. Conclusion. The conclusions to an academic paper always summarize the main point given in the essay, drawn to draw together. The idea of explains how they connect and relate. Shows how you have answered the questions. The conclusions may also suggest some further research and give a concluding statement and pause of further questions. Here is my citation.
Sound. And see, yesterday we sent a message in 7 minutes. So do you think that this was okay? You can sit. This was worth for 7 minutes. So you might have thought that how much time will it take? There's an audio problem here. So hello. Now try to listen the audio. Let us check whether audio is okay or not. Speaker now, is it clear? The audio was going from this webcam, so there was some sound coming in background. Okay, now again you can see it is clear sound. Okay, yeah, okay, fine. So, okay, fine. So, well, we told you yesterday that stick to the time, 7 minutes. I have some meetings also to be attended, a class also to be taken in between. So that's why we have also cancelled today question and answer also. So don't waste your time in only reading the things. We want more of a practical thing. Like you, throughout the semester, you were dealing with research writing. So whatever you read, why don't you connect with that? That it is problematic. Talk about problems. You say that academic writing, everything is all these things, but what problems you face when you want to implement all these things? That is more important. At implementation level, what is happening with you, rather than what is ideally. Ideal things are all available on internet. Even if you will not speak, it is there from where you are bringing down here. Your experience, your problems dealing with this, and it is difficult. We know that research is not an easy task for everybody. So why don't you reflect upon the difficulties that you face? That is the way to solve the problem. If you think of it, talk about it, then you can solve the problems also. So Stick to the time, otherwise in between I'll have to cut you short now. Okay? If you'll cross the time, then in between I will tell that now conclude, so you'll have to jump down to the concluding slide. And don't read each and every word that you have put on your slides. Don't read. That is what we are telling you for last 3 semesters. But still, some of you are not improving the quality of those things. And check yesterday's Stuti, you have not given the feedback yesterday. Evaluation. Time step is not given by some of you. Some of you have not given the timestamp. So when it is Kishan, Nandita, Stuti, Pina has not given properly. Hiral has not given in the morning slot. So when things are going live, it doesn't seem good to make a comment on your thing, but you are not improving. That is also the case. On the first day, also we told you that whatever messages you are receiving, you are supposed to implement on that as early as possible. So even overnight things are not happening, and we have to do everything very fast, very quickly. Lots of things are still pending to be done. So lethargy, laziness cannot be tolerated at any level. Okay, fine. So next one now. So we already have 30 minutes and only 2 presentations done so far. So double time we are consuming.
Screen. Hello, good morning, everybody. Today we have a presentation on paper research methodology. In that, I would like to give a presentation on the literature review as a research methodology. Introduction: building your study on exciting knowledge and relating it to it. It is the foundation of all academic research activity, regardless of subject. As a result, all academics should make it point to do so correctly. This work, however, has become increasingly difficult. Knowledge generation in the field of business research is expanding at a breakneck pace while staying fragmented and interdisciplinary at the same time. This makes it difficult to keep up with cutting edge research and stay on the cutting edge, as well as to analyze the body of evidence in a certain field. This is why the literature review is more important than ever as a research method. A literature review is a method of collecting and summarizing previous research that is more or less systematic. As a research approach, an effective and well conducted review established as a solid platform for increasing knowledge and aiding theory development. A research paper can be made by combining facts and viewpoints from a variety of empirical studies. So, what is a literature review? A literature review is a survey scholarly articles, books, and other source relevant to particular issues, area of research or theory, and by so doing, providing a description, summary, and critical evaluation of these works. Literature review are designed to provide an overview of sources you have explored while researching a particular topic, and go and to demonstrate to your readers how your research fits into the large field of studies. The primary reports used in the literature may be verbal, but in the vast majority of cases, reports are written documents. The types of scholarship may be empirical, theoretical, critical, analytical, or methodological in a nature. Second, a literature review seeks to describe, summarize, evaluate, clarify, and or integrate the content of primary reports. Literature review is different from an academic research paper. The main focus of an academic research paper is to develop a new argument, and a research paper will contain a literature review as one of its part. In a research paper, you use the literature as a foundation and as a support for a new insight that you contribute. The focus of literature review, however, is to summarize and synthesize the arguments and ideas of others without adding new contribution. From the point of view calling, the literature review is an objective through summary and critical analysis of the relevant available research and non-research literature on the topic being studied. Its goal is to bring the reader up to date with current literature on a topic, and from the basic for another goal, such as the justification for future research in the area. So why we should write a literature review? A literature review may be the most effective methodological instrument for answering a variety of research problems. Reviews are beneficial when a research wants to analyze theory or evidence in a certain area, or examining the validity of accuracy of particular theory or rival ideas. This strategy can be focused, such as looking into influence of the relationship between two specific variables, or it can be wide, such as looking into the body of data in a certain fields of study. In addition, literature reviews are useful when the aim is to provide an overview of certain issue or research problem. Typically, this type of literature review is conducted to evaluate the state of knowledge on a particular topic. It can be used example to create research agendas, identify gaps in a research, or simply discuss a particular matter. So, systematic literature review. Systematic literature review's goal is to compile a comprehensive list of all published and unpublished work in a given field. Unlike traditional reviews, which attempt to summarize the findings of multiple research, systematic reviews utilize specified and rigorous criteria of discover critically analysis and synthesis all of the literature on a specific issues. The primary goal of this to the reader with a through framework for comprehending current knowledge and apprehending the need of fresh research. Equally, however, it can help refine or focus of broad research question and is useful for both topic selection and topic refinement. It can also be helpful in a developing conceptual of theoretical framework. The reviewer needs to present precise criteria to use to one is formulate the research question. Second is state inclusion or exclusion of criteria. Select and access the literature. Access the quality of the literature. Include in the review analysis, synthesis, and disseminate the finding. So, which are the steps in the literature review process? So, first is choosing a review topic. Second is searching and selecting appropriate articles. Third is organization of writing the review, and fourth is analysis and synthesizing the literature. So, first is choosing a review topic. The first task to tackle, often the most difficult in writing a review of literature, is choosing a topic. First, second is read the chapters associated with the topics you pick to develop familiarity with the vocabulary, primary investigators and issues to converters in the area. Third is talking to others, such as expert, or reading around the topic can also help to identify what areas of the subject the reviewer is interested in, and maybe help indicate how much information exists on the topic. The next step after choosing a topic is to go to the library and search for journal articles published in the area. Use keywords to find article titles for specific topics. Sometimes abstracts are provided for the reader's reference. Abstracts can be useful time savings device because they aid in a widening good associated literature from unrelated articles. Searching and selecting appropriate articles. The next step after selected topic is to identify in a structured way the appropriate and related information. The type of articles that are selected for a good review of literature are theoretical presentations, review articles, and empirical research articles. Choosing the work or of a single researcher may be one method for starting a literature review. Analyzing the and synthesizing the literature. After you have collected the articles you intend to use in your literature review, you are ready to analyze each one and then synthesize the collection of articles you selected. There are number of tools that can help us analyze the synthesize our key sources. The final stage of appraisal is to write a short summary of each article and may include key thoughts, comments, strengths, and weakness of the publication. It should be written in your own words to facilitate your understanding of the material. It also forms a good basic for the writing for the review. A third is organization of writing the review. The main aim in structuring your review of the literature is to lead your reader to understand the need to conduct precisely the form of literature review of research paper that you propose or have done. The introduction and conclusion to your review of the literature should show your research project will join the ongoing conversation. Identify the key terms and concept. Indicate how your research will resolve unresolved question. In other words, in a conclusion, literature analysis serve as a vital foundation for all kind of study. They can form a basic of knowledge creation, produce policy and practices recommendation, give evidence of an effect, and if done correctly, have the potential to generate new ideas and direction for a field. As a result, they provide a foundation for a future research and thought. It will be a much easier to identify actual research gaps rather than simply repeating the same research. To develop better and more precise hypotheses and research questions, and as a result to hypotheses and research questions, and improve the quality of research as a community if there is certainty that the research is built on a great accuracy. Here is my references. Thank you.
Okay, next one.
Okay, so good morning, my dear all friends and respected sir. Today we are dealing with our fourth paper, research methodology, and I want to present on literature review. So let me share my screen. Just a minute. Is it visible, sir? Okay, so literature review in a research. So here we are table of content. First we see that what is a research, then literature review, then literature review process, elements in literature review, and the importance of literature review, and as it is work cited. So first, what is a research? During our school career, we have probably written many personal essay that presented your thoughts, feeling, and opinion, and that did not refer to any other source of information or ideas. Some assignment, however, require us to go beyond our personal knowledge. We undertake research when we wish to explore an idea, a problem, an issue, solve a problem, or make an argument in relation to what others have written. So we then seek out and use the materials beyond our personal resources. The outcome of such an inquiry appears in the research paper. So the term research paper describe a presentation of student research that may be in a printed, an electronic, or a multimedia format. So we know about research. Now, what is a literature review? And we all are aware about literature review because we are working on our dissertation, so it's very important to us. So now, uh, uh, H.M. Cooper give one means definition that a literature review uses as its database reports of primarily or original scholarship, and does not report new primary scholarship itself. The primary reports used in the literature may be verbal, but in the vast majority of cases, reports are written documents. The types of scholarship may be empirical, theoretical, critical, analytic, or methodological in a nature. And then second, a literature review seeks to describe, summarize, evaluate, clarify, and or integrate the content of primary. So do you agree with the statement by Cooper? Most of us students have not fully grasped the concept of literature review. Some students believe that conducting a literature review involves gathering and assembling information for the paper. Research is being carried out in reality. The process of reviewing the material, necessity of analytical skills. So, thinking, criticizing, and an empirical approach are all required. A literature review is a formalized and uh, formal conventional topic for a research study, particularly a thesis or dissertation examining. The literature is an essential component of the overall research process. When you go on a research process, including a survey of the literature, will assist you in developing a theoretical framework. So roots of your subject of interest, clarification of concept, and development of a technique. A survey of the literature also assists you in integrating your result with the once upon a time there was a established corpus of knowledge. So this is one argument, or we can say definition of literature review. So the and this given by Chris Hart in his book. So a literature review is a body of text, and its main goal is to bring the reader up to date with current literature on a topic, and forms the basic from another goal, such as the justification for future research in the area. It seeks to describe, summarize, evaluate, clarify, and integrate the content of previous research. And the Hart also agree with this notion, but extended its definition to the selection of available documents, and the effective evaluation of these documents in relation to the research being proposed. So now literature review process. So when we start our dissertation, and sir and ma'am give also we are attending some more workshop. So I write down this, that first of select a topic, then search and choose the literature like critics review and other research paper, then write the review and analyze and interpret the literature. Elements in the literature review. So locate major formative works in the field. Uh, a certain key researchers working on this topic, then find faint idea, conclusion and theories, establish similarity and differences, notice main methodologies and research technique, then identity gaps in exciting research, so relationship between previous study theories, provide context for your own research, and explore exciting information in the field of research. So now main question is that the importance of literature review. Why we are write a literature review? So here reviewing literature can the time consuming and daunting. However, it is always rewarding. A review of literature has a number of functions in research methodology. So three main function of a literature review. First one is to provide theoretical background. So second one is help justify how your findings are related to the body of knowledge in your field of research, and third one is establish the links between what you propose to examine and what has already been found. It helps you to refine your research methodology. So these are four main, we can say, literature reviews importance that improve your research methodology, then focus on research problem, cater to knowledge base for research area, and contextualizing research findings. These are works cited. And thank you. If you have any query and question, you can contact me at the ready28 at gmail.com. Thank you.
So, who is the next now? You have to focus the camera properly.
So, good morning, everyone. For today's, my topic is mechanics in writing and research methodology in context to titles in the text. Mechanics of writing. The goal of the mechanics of the writing is to make the writing precise and grammatically correct. It is directed to make the writing systematic and being concerned about how to be correct in spelling, punctuation, italics, and so on. The mechanics of writing are the rules that must be followed by preparing research papers so that the research strategies and the format becomes systematic and consistent in all academic sectors. If one does not follow or if there are no such rules of writing, then the writing would be certainly very difficult. Title of the publication works in the research paper should be cited for the title page, not from the cover page or the inner page. For capitalizing titles, one should capitalize the first words, the last words, and the principal words, and the both titles and subtitles. Generally, title of the works must be underlined or italicized. Title of the names of books, pamphlets, periodicals, films, radios, and televisions should be underlined if handwritten or italicized. If printed in the research paper, titles of the names of article, essays, short stories, short poems, chapters of the book, and so on should be put within quotation marks. The same is for the case of unpublished work such as lectures and speeches. Here are the factors in mechanics of writing. There are a spelling, punctuation, italics, name of persons, titles of works in the research paper, quotations, and capitalization and personal names. Here are the subpoints of titles of works in the research paper. Capitalization and punctuation. Always take the title from the title page, not the cover page or in the inner page. Special typography characteristics. Capitalize the first word and last word and all principal words. Italicized titles of published books, plays of any length, long poems, pamphlets, periodicals, works of classical literature, films, radio and television programs, ballets, operas, instrumental music, paintings, sculpture, and names of ships and aircraft are all in the text. Here are the examples of it. As You Like It, The Wasteland, and Time magazine. Titles in quotation marks, titles of articles, essays, short stories, or short poems, songs, chapters of the book, unpublished work, lectures and speeches, courses, and individual episodes of radio and television programs are enclosed in quotation marks. And here are the examples of it. Source of Energy in the 21st Century, Young Goodman Brown, and the Introductory Mathematics. There Here is exception. These conventions of titles or placing them within quotation marks do not apply to sacred writings, to series edition and societies, to descriptive words or phrases used instead of an actual title, and to parts of a book, none of which is underlined or put within quotation marks. And here are the examples of it: Bible, Genesis, and Upanishads. Then a shortened title. If a title is to be mentioned often in the text, after the first full reference in the text or in a note, use only a shortened title or abbreviation. Nightingale for Ode to a Nightingale, and SBI for State Bank of India. And here are my citation.
Yes, so the next one. Yes, just the camera.
Is my screen visible? Okay. Shall I start, sir? Okay. It's loading. Loading. Yes. Now visible? Okay. So hello everyone. Today I'm going to present about what is the plagiarism and how to avoid it. So here is my information, and today I'm going to present about the paper on research methodology. So table of the content. So we are going to see that what is plagiarism, type of plagiarism, when was in India the plagiarism performs, rate highest, step to avoid plagiarism, Bollywood and plagiarism, and two live example, Hungarian president and caught in a plagiarism, and German defense minister resigned in a PhD for plagiarism, and five author who has been accused for plagiarism, and conclusion. So first, what is plagiarism? So according to Merriam-Webster dictionary, the word plagiarism derived from the Latin word plagiaris, and it means to commit a literary theft and to present as a new and original an idea or a product derived from an existing source. So according to MLA Henry, for the writer of the recent seventh edition, plagiarism involves two kind of wrongs: using another person's idea, information, or expression without acknowledging that person's work constitutes intellectual theft, and passing off other person's idea, information, or expression as your own to get a better grade or gain some other advantage, constitutes fraud. It is a very good lyrics written by the Tom Larry about the plagiarism. That plagiarized, let no one is work evade your eyes. Remember why the God Lord made you eyes. So don't shed your eyes, but plagiarize, 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 plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it please research. So now type of plagiarism. So according to Oxford University Press Academic Insight for the Thinking Word, there are the six kind of the plagiarism: paragraph, paraphrasing, patchwork or a mosaic, verbatim, source based on plagiarism, global plagiarism, and self plagiarism. So when was in India the plagiarism performance the rate highest? So Neelam Pandey has reported in the print that Indian academic have contributed 35% of the article published in a various kind of the fake journalism journals between 2010 to 2014, and the international consortium of the investigation journalist has identified over the 11,000 fake journals during the 5-year period, and read the committee's report submit to the Human Resource Development Ministry. Plagiarism and data manipulated are the issue of the great concern, which damage the credibility of the research emanating from the our institutions. So when was in the India plagiarism performed the rate highest? So Coplings noted that in the period between 2007 to 2011 there were the highest plagiarism performed rated, and as the result in 2015 the University Grant Commission has been declared a mandatory in India to check PhD thesis with the anti-plagiarism software. On 26th June 2016, India's government has decided to bring a law to resist this activity, and the punishment are different as per the pattern of the plagiarism and the performance of the activities. Now it is the recent web series which describe a very fascinating dialogue about the plagiarism. So here is the talk between the two professor, and one is belonging to the English literature and one is belonging to Hindi literature. So English literature professor said that now you are stealing from the one, not a one but two poets, Kedarnath and Naresh Saxena, and you are beyond to the plagiarism. So plagiarism is the most derogatory word in the literature. So step to avoid plagiarism. Here are some steps to avoid plagiarism and improve qualitative writing. So according to Dr. Lahiri, cite everything. Ensure that every assertion and statement of the fact cited, and if it is your opinion that say also, otherwise provide a citation. Avoid quote or paraphrase the work of the others in your own word, and using the software and service to check the paper prior of the submission. Time is the critical, and plagiarism and high similarity often result when students do not allow to enough time to proper complete assignment or papers. So, step to avoid plagiarism. So, these are steps described in the MLA Handbook 9th edition. So, do careful research, giving credit to particular researcher, paraphrasing each and everything, and it has a support that when to paraphrase, how to paraphrase, and how to paraphrase and give credit, quoting each and everything, how to quote and give credit. So there are also online tool available to checking the plagiarism, that Grammarly, Orkut, Authenticate, Paper Retter, and many more. And yesterday we have seen that Google Classroom also give the feature that how to check a plagiarism in students' work. Bollywood and plagiarism. So Bollywood, or we can say the film, is also part of literature. So in that there is also so many incidents of plagiarism which were noted down. So Times of India has reported that the alluring and creative industry of Bollywood has been mired in a controversy rated in a plagiarism. So here is the movie, like it is a well-known movie which is accused for plagiarism, like Dear Zingi also for accused for plagiarism. And it is said that it was a copy from one Russian, or let me see, just a minute. Dear Zingi is also copy from the Canadian comedy series Being Eric. The Wanted is accused for the plagiarism, and Mahesh Banerjee accused that it is from the Rajabai IPS. Gajni is also accused for the plagiarism, and it is this term is a copy from the Christopher Nolan's film Memento. Then Rabata is also plagiarized, and Telugu filmmaker accused that it is the copy from the Magadhira. Then English medium is also listed in this plagiarism table. And Manji the Mountain Man and Murder 2 also accused for the plagiarism. So, a live example that Hungarian President Smith has also caught in the plagiarism. So this reported by BBC that Hungarian President Paul Smith says he is the resigning after being stripped of his doctoration over the plagiarism. And last week, Mr. Smith elected in 2010 and said, "My person's issue divide my beloved nations rather than united it." And Mr. Smith, 69, he has won 69 gold medals for fenching at the 1968 and 1972 Olympic Games, and he was elected to the largely ceremonial role of the president for the 5-year term with a strong backing from the conservative ruling Fetch party of the Prime Minister Victor. So he has to abandon his position because of the plagiarism. And German Defense Minister resigned here in a PhD plagiarism. So it is the live example that what might be the result of this plagiarism. So many people has to abandon their position because they are quoting for plagiarism. So he was voted German's most popular politician, and he has to abandon the post because he caught in a plagiarism scandal. So 5 author who has been accused to plagiarism. So according to Alisha Patkar, reported in the Times of the India that controversy have always engulfed popular author, and true or not, but we love this author and their book. And the Indian controversy that King author Chetan Bhagat has been also the victim of this accusation a lot of time. But you will be surprised to know that even some of the international best-selling author have been also accused for the plagiarism as well. So these are the name of that author, that some popular international bestseller author also mentioned in this list that they are stealing their material for someone else. So first is the Jane Goddard. So he is also scandalized, and J.K. Rowling. That it is a very interesting scene about J.K. Rowling. So leading primologist Jane Goodall also accused Then in 2014, the author behind the wildly successful Harry Potter series was accused of the stealing content from the author Adrian Jacobs' book and the adventure of a Willy and the Wizard. And the state of the author had claimed that Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire was plagiarized from the part of his book, and there is the court case, and um, see, he has to pay some amount of money for this. So the another is the Kavya Vishwanathan, how Opal Mehta got keys, got wide and got life. So it is a this is not exactly the debate Harvard University Kavya Vishwanathan was hoping for. And her first book, how Opal Mehta got kissed, got wide and got life, was pulled up the being very similar to author Megan McCaffert's book Sloppy First and Second Helping, and detail of the lifting were first published by the University of the Harvard. So it is also listed down in plagiarism, and also the Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code was once in the list of plagiarism. So conclusion, to summing up, plagiarism is the most derogatory word in a literature, and one should always try to avoid this. It will prove dangerous in our future. So as we are all writing our research paper, our dissertation, so we have to be very careful about citation. We have do not copy paste it, and if we have taken anything from anywhere, we have to mention that, and we have to cite it that particular thing, so we can make ourselves safe from this very derogatory word plagiarism. So here are my work citation. Thank you.
Yes, so now the next presenter. Here it is still not accepted.
Good morning, everyone. Today is the third day of presentation. My topic is plagiarism and its types. It is from the paper research methodology. This is the table of content. What is plagiarism? Plagiarism is wrong, misconceptions, and types of plagiarism. Now, what is plagiarism? Many people think of plagiarism as copying another's work or borrowing someone else's original ideas, but terms like copying and borrowing can disguise the seriousness of the offense. According to the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary to plagiarism, it means to steal and pass off as one's own idea, to own, to use without crediting the source, to commit literary theft, to present as new and original an idea or product derived from an existing source. In other words, plagiarism is an act of fraud, and it involves both stealing someone else's work and lying about it afterward. This is what I have done. Uh, the another thing is how plagiarism is wrong.
Plagiarism is a form of cheating, theft, or stealing. And decide when you plagiarize, you are creating an opportunity for faculty and future employers to question your integrity and performance, which may lead to disciplinary actions. The another thing is denying yourself the opportunity to learn and practice skills that will be needed in your future education and career. This is what we are facing in our dissertation also, that as on my personal experience, when I was writing the introduction, I had wrote about 20 pages of introduction, and I was fetching so many materials from so many websites, research papers, and the tragic thing was that I forgot to cite it. And when I got to know that I have done 20 pages, and whenever I have from which site I have taken that idea from reference and all, I forgot it. So I had to rewrite the introduction, and when everybody was planning chapter 4, I was doing chapter 2. So this was my experience. So whenever you fetch some idea or some content from any source or any article, please try to cite it on any digital tool or on any or note it anywhere. The another thing is actions that might be seen as plagiarism, like copying from another source, or buying, stealing, and using the source closely, which is which is known as misconceptions. Anything you find on the internet is available for everyone to copy and paste. Therefore, you don't have to cite it. So it is a misconception. It is wrong. Just as hard copy information needs to be cited, so does information found on the internet. The another thing is anything you find on the internet is considered common knowledge. Therefore, you don't have to cite it. So this one is also a wrong. This is also a misconception, as with print or hard copy, information on internet may be or may not be common knowledge. Images, charts, and graph in the book can be photocopied. Therefore, you don't have to cite them. This is also untrue. Information written on or produced by someone else must be cited, whether photocopied or not. These are some common types of plagiarism: complete plagiarism, paraphrasing plagiarism, source based plagiarism, direct plagiarism, self and auto plagiarism, accidental plagiarism, and inaccurate authorship. We also have the concept of deliberate plagiarism and accidental plagiarism, which two students and research scholars may face. Deliberate plagiarism deals with rewriting from books and articles. It is just copying and pasting from web pages and online sources, and buying, downloading, and borrowing a paper. On the other side, accidental plagiarism is a plagiarism which is not knowing, which we don't do by ourselves, not knowing how to paraphrase or summarize, and not knowing that what is the common knowledge is. And accidental plagiarism always turn up on recycling and old paper. The first type of plagiarism is complete plagiarism, which each and every person does this in whatever it is, in presentations, in assignments, in dissertation. Complete plagiarism is the most severe form of plagiarism, where a researcher takes a manuscript or study that someone else created and submit it under his or her name, and it is tantamount to intellectual theft and stealing. The another one is source based plagiarism. This plagiarism is, for example, when a researcher references a source that is incorrect or does not exist. It is a misleading citation. Plagiarism also occurs when a researcher uses a secondary source or data or information, but only cites the primary source of information. Both these types lead to an increase in the number of references source. This in turn increase in the citation number of the references. This is what we normally face in Wikipedia. When we choose some source, there are multiple sources over there, and when we just cite one source, it will then be named as source based plagiarism. Third one is direct plagiarism. Direct plagiarism is a plagiarism which connects from word to word. but it refers to sections of another paper. This type of plagiarism is considered dishonest and it calls for academic disciplinary actions. It is not as common, but it is a serious infraction of academic rules and ethics. Direct plagiarism is plagiarism which occurs when an author copies the text of another author word by word without the use of quotation marks or attributions. The other one is self or auto plagiarism. Self and auto plagiarism, also known as self plagiarism, it happens when an author refuses significant portions of his or her previously published work without attributions. Thus, this type of plagiarism is most likely to involve published researchers rather than university students. The severity of this kind of infractions is under debate depending on the copied content. So this copied content is very in issue. Students and research scholars also faces this type of plagiarism the most. Many academic journals, however, have strict criteria on the percentage of author's work that is reusable. Many journals can run manuscript through a plagiarism detection software before considering for them for a review. The another one is uh, paraphrasing plagiarism. This is the most widely type of plagiarism which everyone uses. This is very easy also. This is as published on widely the most common type of plagiarism. It involves the use of someone else writing with some minor changes in the sentence and use it as one's own. This type of paraphrasing plagiarism is very easy to do. There are many sites also which is making content of this paraphrasing plagiarism. It just make some sentence change, some verbs change, it just change some adjectives, some words, and your content is ready, but it is not the correct way to do. Even if the word differs, the original idea remains the same and plagiarism occurs. Because students often do not have a clear understanding of what constitutes plagiarism, there are recommendations for research and writing available to reduce the risk of paraphrasing plagiarism. The another one is inaccurate authorship. Inaccurate authorship or misleading attribution can happen in two ways. The first one is when an individual contributes to a manuscript but does not get the credit for it. The second one is when an individual gets credit without contributing to the work. This type of plagiarism, whichever way it occurs, is a violation of the code and conduct in research. It is also possible to commit this form of plagiarism when someone else edits a manuscript, leading to substantive changes. In this case, the recommendation to it is acknowledge the contributors at the time of publication, even if it is not listed as authors. The another one is mosaic plagiarism. It is a plagiarism which may be or more difficult to detect because it interlaces someone else's paraphrase or text within its own research. It is also known as patchwork plagiarism and it is intentional and dishonest. This is the most hard type of plagiarism. If we try to do this type of plagiarism, the time that the time that this plagiarism doing this plagiarism takes, we can write a research paper. So don't do this. The another one is accidental plagiarism. Whether intended or unintended, there is no excuse for plagiarism, and the consequences are often the same. However, plagiarism may be accidental if it is occurred because of neglect, mistake, or unintentional paraphrasing. Students are likely to commit accidental plagiarism, so universities should stress on the importance of education about this form of plagiarism. As we all have workshops over the how plagiarism functions, so this type of plagiarism is very important concept for students and research scholars to understand in a wide context. Thank you. These are my references.
Okay, so who is the next now? Good that you have shared your experience of what goes wrong or right, what whatever way it is helping, that is very important to reflect upon. Most of your thinking activities are also supposed to be about this. Real life experiences is what you have to share. Yes, so last two now. Lata and Kishan. We have now 10 minutes left to end this session. So be quick. Don't read everything.
Is it visible? Okay, hello everyone. Uh, so today's my topic is why documentation is necessary in research. So we have a paper of research methodology in which we learn how to do our research with documentation, proper topic choosing, and other things. So I will discuss about introduction first, then what is documenting a source, why documentation is necessary in research, and conclusion. So let's start with documentation. When we start our presentation or anything topic which we want to do research, we also search in Google that anyone else has done research on that topic or not. So our research is start with seeing others research, and that is possible when someone do documentation. So whether you are jotting down the result of your own experiment or organization of the works of others, there is no understanding the importance of organizing and citing your research. And the proper documentation helps you to organize your data and your information in a nice manner. As research rightly said that in research paper, documentation is the evidence provided for information and ideas that you have borrowed from other and others research. And documentation in research is a critical because it allows people to reading finished work of trace point and information back to their original sources. As I have we have selected topics, and for that we do research on that topic. And if I find the article about the topic, I see their bibliography or work cited, and from that I come to know about the original sources or the other sources that the researcher used in their article. So it becomes possible when we see when we do documentation. So, what is this documenting source? So, Philip said that documentation is very simple tool, and it helps to participation to participator to unveiling the patterns. And the another definition, if we look, Andrins observe that documentation has many meanings from the broad, anything written in any medium, to the narrow policies and producers manual or perhaps records. So it is the record, and record the things that we have used in our research or our data. And why it is necessary in every research. So there are some topics that I want to discuss here. That first is give and take credit. While we do research, we think that nobody sees that from where we are taking this resources, but it is not true. Google, and there are also many tools that shows that from where and which sentences and how much sentences you have taken from that material.
So, Ellis said that properly documented research is easier to cite, share, and take credit for, and we have to give credit from the sources we have taken the information or data. So, when the information and the data we are taking, we must have to cite them in our research or in our information that we are giving in the article. And in the world of research, it is important to share idea and know more about each other's way of thinking. To This is the digital era, and easily we are putting all the things in the Google or digital platform. So it is possible that someone's take our data or information and do not credit for it. So documentation is for that we have to give and take credit from which we have taken the sources and the information. And becomes more difficult to trust and the reliability of information you read and share and studies without providing any adequate citations. So it also happened that if you said someone that this is the things and this I have researched on this topic, and this is the my point of views and my analysis. So somebody will question that of how you can prove these your points, and how you will evaluate your research. So documentation is important for that, to prove them. And the another thing that is make research shareable. If there is no documentation and we will do research on any platform, we won't find any other information related this topic. So documentation helps other to reach to the another information that shared by other researcher. So and it is also important to documentation of information, and it helps others to grow their exploration on their topic. And through this documentation, we can reach to that original source or primary or secondary sources. And it will provide you readers that a description of key features of each sources. And while doing the research, you have to be honest, and you have to do valid work, because the integrity of your work is shown in your production of whether it you have do it proper or not. And if you haven't do it proper, it will leads others to do in the wrong direction. And by documenting your research throughout the entire process, you add honestly and authenticity into your work. So it is important to do documentation. And to wind up, we can say that the expression of someone's creative work is copyrighted. And if we want that someone do not copyright our idea or our creative work, we have to do citation also. And this citation is the documentation, and it helps to other to lead to get to these resources. And documentation is important for claim your point and conclusion. So with the reference of other researchers, we can prove our point that these researchers said that, and this researcher said about this is like that, and now I am concluding my point of view in my research. So this documentation helps us to claim our point and to prove our point. And documentation is also important to avoid plagiarism, as Nidhi and Nanditaba gave example of plagiarism. So to avoid plagiarism, we have to cite our works from wherever we took information and data. And documentation helped us to avoid plagiarism. And there is the statement that if it is not written, it doesn't exist. to prove our point or to claim our point, we have to took references of other researcher or other writers who have wrote about these topics. And for that we have to cite these sources from wherever we have taken this information. So it is important to do citation and to do documentation in this way. And this saying points to the importance and need for clear, consistent documentation of events. Whenever no, when I took admission in masters in semester one, we when sir give us thinking activity, we are easily copy pasted information from the Wikipedia or the sources that we easily available. But at that time we not understood that we have to cite also this information from where we are getting. But now after reading and after learning this research methodology, I have learned that even if you have cited any one sentence, you have to cite the sources from where we took information. And this is the citation. Thank you.
Next. Okay, now. Okay. So, hello everyone. Good morning. Today I am going to present paper number 209, research methodology. And in this paper, my topic is punctuation mark is important in writing. So let's start. Here is a table content. What is a punctuation? The basic rules of punctuation, and punctuation periods, questions mark, and an exclamations point, commas, semicolons, colons, and dash. Also apostrophes, quotation marks, and last conclusion and work citation. So, what is a punctuation? Punctuation is the set of mark used to regulate text and clarify their meaning, mainly by separating or thinking words, preface and clauses. The word comes from the Latin word punctuation, meaning making a point. The basic rules of punctuation. So, like many of the so-called laws of grammar, the rules of using a punctuation would never hold up in a court. These rules, in fact, are a convention that have changed over the centuries. They vary across the national boundaries and even from one writer to the text. Understanding the principle behind the comma mark of punctuation should strengthen your understanding of grammar and help you to use the mark consistently in your own writing. The punctuation has the primary responsibility of contributing to the plainness of one's meaning. It has the secondary responsibility of being as invisible as possible, of not calling attention to itself. So, and punctuation. First one is a question mark. Second one is a exclamation mark, and also next one is a full stop in comma, the semicolons, colon, hyphen, index, index, ellipsis point, apostrophe, quotation mark, and also punctuation is some different types of brackets, square brackets, slash. So here is my conclusion. Full stop and sentence made up of at least one independent clauses. A colon is used in include additional detail, thus support the main clauses. It is also used to subtitle title. Semicolon are also used to connect two independent clauses that are closely related to each other, and to contact translation words and paraphrase within a sentence, and to keep items in a list that have their own internal punctuation separate. So the use of punctuation mark is very important for writing any paragraph, because if any mistake is made in it, then the meaning of the sentence become a meaningless. So, by understanding the rules of each punctuation mark and applying it correctly in the same place where it needs to be applied, the writing become nice and meaningful. We can see it through the example below. Uh, Panda eats comma shoots and leaves, and after you move the comma, so panda eats shoots and leaves. So here is my personal experience. I am write down in research paper and dissertation. At that time you can type so many words and so many paragraphs. So at that time all punctuation mark is very useful, and you can not proper your put down punctuation marks. So at that time, sentence meaning is wrong, and all paragraph and your work meanings is wrong, and very useful to some online tools. How to check your grammatical error, and you can change and correct the punctuation mark, and also spelling mistake, and also your sentence structure is wrong. So you can check, and you can go get the right now. Here is my work citation. Thank you.
Okay, good. So with this, we end this morning session, and the other part we will have in the afternoon for the remaining students. Okay, so tomorrow is the last day of your presentation. So wish you all the best for tomorrow also. And also a reminder, don't forget to evaluate peer evaluation and self-evaluation. So quickly do it without leaving the class, and timestamps also.